Right.
Partial match found in Sim Experience
Oh, hello.
database.
Ah.
Profile modified.
Okay. La Ferrari. Oh, let's make a quick marker on the doodad. Right. Need to steer this car more because it's got a slower steering rack. I'm saying this for my benefit and not for yours. Feels like the view's a bit high. Is the view a bit high? So, I'm trying to take everything I've learned from driving the... Yeah, more steering required. From driving the BM and applying that to this. Now, there are going to be some subtle differences in line and that sort of thing, but the vast majority should transfer. Oh, it doesn't break down into there so well. Or see, we might now need to start using a tighter, a wider radius turning into that penultimate corner, but let's have a butcher's. Suck your shoulders in, it's better aerodynamically down the straight. Too much scrub in the tyres. It's just hard, isn't it? Is everyone else struggling getting into the southern loop? I feel like that's one of my weak areas. More steering, John. Oh, no. Bother. Here's my first flyer, I suppose. Wow, this car off throttle turns a lot more than the BMW. It is significantly more free at the rear. Okay, so the southern loop is just tricky. Good to know. I mean, you know, not great that you're down. Oh, maybe sick through there. It's just a tricky piece of road because you get into the dirt real fast and on the outside, and you'll be off. And if you open the inside up for a nanosecond, some opportunistic Herbert is going to be up your inside in a heartbeat. Stop driving in the dirt, John. What's the matter with you? I feel like I can turn this car using... Oh, that's a shame. Lap was going well. Using the accelerator more than the BMW. Oh, okay. Josh Rogers is an Aussie, isn't he? I mean, I don't know whether that helps. He may not have ever been at Phillip Island. Right, 27.5. So I am what, 2/10 straight away off my fastest BMW lap. And I really don't feel I've got the best out of this yet. But all the practice laps all have helped. Oh, no, that is wrong. And I'm still in the weeds. Brilliant. Stupid steering rack. Stupid slow. And who drives this one, Liam? Is this a Josh car or a Marcus car?
You're now 0.7 off your best.
Ooh. Okay, nearly. Well, frankly, you're limited use right now. Right, I'm braking too early because I'm climbing the curb on the way in there. It's possible my opening effort is as good as it's going to get until we've had a look at some data. This car turns much more freely using the trail braking than the BMW. Might be partly setup, might be partly style, might be partly engine configuration. But it's got some potential. Okay. We'll have one more go, and then we'll look at some data.
You're now 0.6 off your best.
Well, that's just turning in way too early, John. What are you doing? Okay, you think the mid-engines are strong here, so I need to pull my finger out and go quicker, is what you're saying? I hear ya. Right, this lap's a write-off. I need to turn later into turn 1, so I'm going to have another crack at that and then have a look at some data. Too much sliding. Right, okay, one more crack at a fast lap. Starting to get used to the steering rack being all weird. That really turns in significantly sooner than more positive, more direct whack than the other one. Okay, let's go. No, what am I doing? There we go. And off, and off, and we're off. Happy days. Where'd everyone go? What's the matter with them? Not Ferrari fans. I don't think I'm going to dwell too much on the Ferrari and the Porsche. Just have a look at some of the differences, have a couple of runs of data analysis, see if I can get the times down a bit, talk through some differences. Out in the weeds. I'm instinctively using more of the road into there. We'll see if that's quick or not. Okay. There was nothing glaringly, maybe a bit wide in Lukey Heights. But beyond that, nothing glaringly obvious. So. Who does this car? This guy, whoever he is. 26.3. So 1.2 off. Let's get into it. So, oh yeah, down the straight. No, turn one. Okay. 5k's difference. He doesn't lift completely, except when he does. And he's carrying more speed in. As I say, it's turning later. It turns more directly as you turn it into the corner. So I can turn in later. That's quite different to the BMW. I'm going to take a bit of getting used to. Right, okay. On the brakes into the southern loop. Well, it's not the 30 kilometers an hour that I was losing in the other car, although I'm braking a bit early and a bit hard. So, okay, fair enough. Right, way better proportionately to the BMW into the Honda hairpin here. Yeah, maybe just not building the brake pressure fractionally hard enough. That's a nice curve, isn't it? Look at that. Well done, you and your 9k iRacing. Oh, look, straight away. So through Lukey, through Siberia, the banked corner. I ran off the road, as we know, on the exit. But other than that, decent. Okay, so natural affinity for the Ferrari maybe. Right, here's where we start to see quite a bit of difference. And it did look like I was wide in the middle of Lukey Heights, to be honest. And I think the biggest difference has come here. Am I still... whereabouts? Yeah, that's pretty standard for me. I was doing some driving yesterday with the MX-5 using the sequential lever and therefore right foot braking, because it sometimes doesn't change down into the gears when you want, and you know that eliminates the whole thing straight away just by right foot braking. You obviously can't cross your feet if you're using the same pedal for the same foot to operate the accelerator and the brake. So right, okay, so Lukey Heights I need to drive better, and then it's difficult to know whether I'm particularly deficient in this final corner. Oh look, he's in first. When does he change to first? Right, okay, so he's using first down at MG corner, the second of the right hand hairpins. So I will try doing the same. Quick swig and then charge. The patented swig and charge. Right. Alright dude, I will speak to you soon. Muchly. Bye for now. Right. Ah, I didn't drive in the dirt. Happy days. Okay, so first into here. Maybe a bit more coasting. Oh, that was messy and still a green sector, so there's potential there. Okay, let's try and put one together. Got to be brave and tell myself to turn into turn one later. Wasn't brave. Okay. There's time to be had there. It's still green, but it's not good. That was better. I think the leaning helps. Alright, quick short shift to dull the power. Oh yeah, look at this. We're on to something. $27 flat. Yeah, first gear was way better. Now if I can just turn in here a bit later. Yes. Oh, going faster though. Hey, it's back with breakfast. We've learnt a thing, Liam. In fact, I don't know whether these two facts are related, but I was way quicker when you weren't here. My optimal's in the 26s. Short shift, power. Right, there's potential here with Oot-a-Doot.
You're currently 0.26 off your best.
Oh, I'm losing time. That felt good. Right, come on. Efficient hairpin. Let's try first in here. That did not help. And now sliding around, superheating the tyres. Right, I'll have another go and then I'll assess this. Oh, hello. 27.2. It's as fast as I've gone though. I think the Ferrari is a good choice because you can also drive it, you know, you can come up through the sort of GT ranks in this car, can't you, with it doing the challenge. That is ambitious. And not faster. Right, I'm going to stop and look at my 27.3. Oh, hold on. 27 flat. Yeah, baby. Did it have an off track in it? Shh. We won't tell anyone. Right. Get rid. And go. Look how late you can turn in this sucker. Don't start turning the wheel till I'm opposite these. You probably can't see that. Oh, I've got more screens than you. These here tyres over here. Still feel it will probably go in there a bit later. Could be a good car for trying to overtake people, this one. Still losing a bit in there. I'm enjoying the Porsche myself personally, although because of its engine configuration, it doesn't help you learn lessons that will transfer over to other cars quite as easily. It stands alone a bit as a racing car, I think. Right, happy with that. 27 flat, decent lap. It's the pendulum effect, isn't it? Because the, I mean, they've moved the engine further forwards than it used to be. But you've got all of that weight so far over the rear axle that you... I think what happens is you get more lift off oversteer. This Ferrari already, you can see when I lift off the throttle. Let's go back to Lukey heights. You could, if you watch the relationship between the back of the car, the left hand side, you see the car go into yaw because you've got the weight of the engine in the middle of the car pulling it to the outside of the corner. The Porsche is an even more extreme example of that, and it means you need to use on throttle yaw control basically, which is an advanced technique, which is fun when you get it, but it's not the most user-friendly thing, especially if people don't learn the basics of weight transfer and trail braking when they drive the MX-5. So many people just jump out of the small class cars before they've really taught you the lessons that that you need to learn. But you pays your money and takes your choice in iRacing, don't you? Right, anyway, into the data. So not much difference here, although I'm slower in and slower off because I'm lifting earlier and not getting back to the throttle, but it's making precious little difference. This is the closest I've been into the southern loop. Still losing a bit on the way in. I still feel I can get the car in there a bit deeper as well, so not worried about that. I am so much better at the hairpin in this Ferrari. Look how close the data is. Still crossing my feet over Liam. Yeah, just much. I mean, look, let me move my face. Even in the mid corner, we're steering exactly the same amount. He is using first in there. I wasn't first. I wasn't faster using first in there, so I'm going to stick with it. Okay, through Siberia, the banked corner. I'm now slowing the car down a bit too much here. But all in all, if you combine Siberia with the run through the hay shed, I'm losing what, less than half a tenth through there. So decent. We're now down to fractions, aren't we? I'm under 7/10 behind, and it's these little fractions are making all the difference. Much better run over Lukey Heights and down into the corner, and then still losing a bit through here, probably still lifting a bit too much, which I am. Right, I'm going to have one more run in this bad boy, and then I'm going to jump in the Porsche. So yeah, just in terms of differences, the BMW, because it's got its engine over the front axle, it gives it an inherent stability into the turns, but it also makes that sort of mid-corner phase a bit more challenging, I suppose. This car has a better balance. If I'm turning the steering wheel in the middle of the corner, I can feel the weight at the back want to help the car turn the car through the mid-corner. So in that respect, but it makes the car looser. If you're too heavy on the brake while you're steering into some of these corners, I can imagine the rear end trying to overtake the front end, which is generally considered to be bad. Although, you guys ever watched ice racing? Right, you know, windscreen wipers on the side windows because you spend so much time looking out of the side windows. That stuff's brilliant. Pontus probably knows all about that. Oh, hello. Crashing. Oh, I did promise some Moto Grand Prix trivia though. That is where Scotland's own John McPhee, Moto 3 rider, had a monster of a crash, collapsed a couple of lungs. I think you only have 2 lungs, don't you? And ended up having to stay in Australia for 6 weeks because he wasn't allowed to fly. It's the corner that ended James Toseland, Moto Grand Prix rider, former 2-time World Superbike champion and frontman of the band Toseland, the imaginatively titled. It's where he had a monster crash coming over Lukey Heights and did his wrist in so badly that he had to retire. So yeah, I'm in good company, huh? Oh, see, I was just thinking to myself, maybe I should try first in there, and maybe that's the karma telling me to do so. Right, I'll try first in there. I'll attempt to go quick up, and if I can't break into the 26s, maybe I can in the Porsche. Yeah, you do have to be a bit nuts to ride a bike, I guess. Must be so much more fun though, mustn't it? Sitting in a roll cage and sweaty old race suit in a 60-degree cabin. Right, I think if I'm going to use first into the Honda hairpin, I am going to need to take the car in a bit deeper because I've got more engine braking in the middle of the corner. Hey, morning Skippy, thanks for the sub, dude. Because I've got more engine braking in the middle of the corner, and that's going to slow me down. I don't know whether that's going to suit my style, to be honest. I'm not very good on the brakes style. Let's see. In the weeds, in the weeds. Right. So if I can be brave into turn 1 and then do everything else absolutely perfectly, I can be in the 26s. No, too eager. Bother. I was in the green. Yeah, see, I lose it coming off. I don't like it. You don't have to take what VRS guy does as the law. You just have to use it to help yourself. Happy New Year to you too, Pontus. Nice one, man. Speak to you soon. Whoa. Oh look, so close to my optimal
You're less than a tenth off your own pace.
best lap. Oh, okay, so you can go too deep in there. No, it got it stopped super efficiently there, but too much so. There's time to be had in there, I'm just not finding it at the moment. Right, I'm going to go back to using second here. I prefer the fact I can get... Oh, that didn't work. I can get into the throttle harder because I've got less torque demand in the car. I'm very close between my best lap and my optimal lap, so a 26 might be ambitious. Don't really want to be out there. Okay. Just gotta not overthink it, not try and push too hard. We've learnt the lessons by looking at the data. Let's flow the race car around the track.
Slower than your best.
See, I think herein lies one of the difficulties of getting somewhere near your limit. It then becomes clearly the nearer you are to your limit of ability and understanding, the nearer you are to being over the limit, and that balance is just tricky. And riding that balance is tricky. But what I'm constantly trying to do is get myself right up to my limit, because the longer I can spend at my limit of ability and understanding and using all of the racetrack and all of that stuff, the more familiar I will become with being. Yeah, I reckon if you stay, there's a pluses and minuses to the gear you're in. You know, you're not using so much engine braking. You've got less torque demand. So I think sometimes these little differences, these subtle differences, come down to a driving style. See, he's using first in here. But for me, maybe I'm changing into first too much. It's just messing me up. And I'm losing, even if I can gain it on the way in, I'm losing it on the way out. Right, that 27 flat's looking like a tough nut to crack. So I'll set up for one more lap, and if not, I will jump into the Porsche and have it try and swap ends on me into Lukey Heights there and kill me. See, in terms of passing, this Ferrari gets in with this VRS setup, gets out of that turn really well. It's quite free through the final corners. You're chasing down a Bimmer through there in VRS settings conditions. And the fact that you can turn into the corner late here, surely you're rife for an up the inside dive if the person is taking a slightly wider angle into there. And even if they're not, you might be able to shoehorn them out the way. Just that little, running into the weeds again, just that little movement on exit is what I'm looking for. The car just dancing on the edge of its available grip. Oh, that's too much. Right, okay, I'm not going any faster in this Ferrari, so I'm gonna jump into the Porsche. See if we can crack the 26s in the Porsche. Right, anyway, I'm going to set this loading and then I'm going to take a pit stop. So Mac Backham is, we were driving with Pashalis Gurk, yeah, that guy. PG, I'm going to call him. So I'll call him T because he's like the PG tips. 26.6 is what we're chasing in this here thingy. Right, anyway, let me start it loading. Hit the be right backs and I'll be right back.